Ollie Brockett here for LowKickMMA. Joining me today is Bellator Featherweight Andrew Fisher ahead of his upcoming bout against Justin Gonzales at Bellator 287. Andrew, thank you for your time. How are you doing today, pal?
I'm good, mate. There's a bit of a thunderstorm going on here. Where are you based? Where are you
I'm in
based?
I'm in Sheffield at the minute for
Oh,
university, so it's been going on across the country. I've got friends in Leicester, friends here, everywhere, and you're in Sunderland, aren't you?
yeah. I've just went out with the car to get something there. It's like a proper thunderstorm. It's horrible.
We've just got a bit of sun for the moment. That's why I've got a bit of light coming through the window,
Uh,
but it's not the best. But let's head into this. You're currently preparing to face a top 10 opponent in Gonzalez. Would you say this is the biggest fight of your career so far?
I suppose any fight you're gonna have, any next fight's always the biggest one, isn't it? Really. So it doesn't like. I don't think you're gonna say, oh no, the other one was bigger. You know what I mean? Like I think anyone you're preparing for, that is definitely the biggest fight of your career, and there's no other way to think about it other than that, is there?
No, there's not. So it's just because he's got a ranking, you don't put too much stock into that, do you?
Like I'm really buzzing that he's got a rank in. I've been trying to get a rank guy for a bit. Um, I'm like I knew if I just kept winning, it would eventually start. There wouldn't be to ignore us anymore. I feel that I'm always like the underdog, and I'm probably being used just to like build him up a bit, and I don't care
Yeah.
about that. So but it does excite me the fact he's got a ranking. But how I prepare and stuff, it doesn't make a difference. I could be fighting somebody who wasn't ranked, and I would still be trying to problem solve and get better just the same.
Has it been a goal of yours to enter this rankings in Bellator?
Yeah, yeah. So my goal is to win the featherweight title, and obviously I would have to be in the rankings to do that. Bellator rankings are a bit funny. They've got some like peculiar people they'll put in there, just people who's popular and stuff. A couple of them, a wrestler like Cody Law, he's like in there, like I think he's like 6-7-0 or something, but he just got one. He just lost his last one, but he hasn't really fought anybody, and he's just fought somebody and got beat. Um, I don't really feel he should be in there because he's like a popular wrestler. That's
Yeah.
why he's there. And I think there's like another one as well. So it's just like all opinion based. But yeah, the thing is, though, if my name's not in that top 10, then there's no way I want to start getting them higher ranked guys. So it is important for me to break through and get in that.
Of course, but you've been to Bellator before, but ever since signing back with them, you've undefeated. Do you feel like you're in your prime now, or are you aging like fine wine?
No, I just
What's your motivation? What's your motivation to keep on fighting and
so
go for these rankings?
So when I was signed to Bellator in 2013, there was like I went to America to the MMA lab to train, and I done good at training and that. And then when it came to fight, obviously I was lacking a lot of experience, and like I just wasn't good enough. That's the thing, I just wasn't good enough at the time. Um, and there's a variety of different reasons. Like people sometimes not good enough for their technical ability or for them, and like I wasn't good enough for my mindset, and that stuff I kind of really worked on. Um, and I kind of just from there, I know it did suck at the time as well, especially getting cut. And I remember thinking that I think that I'd made it. I thought that 2013 when I was signing Bellator, I thought my life was changed and I've made it, and that wasn't the case. I lost my fights there. I came out. I lost another fight to Artem Lobov on Cage Warriors. And then I went from fighting in like I think it was the biggest casino in America. I fought in on Bellator, and I went from that and I fought. And when I came back home, I fought a K1 fight in a workmen's club for like £150 in front of like 150 people. Do you know what I mean? Like a shitty little local club. But I just got better. I'm just getting better, and I'm getting better, and I'm still feeling I'm getting better. I'm 37 now, and I know like most people talk to, they kind of talk to you as if you should be sort of done now, and most people are. But I'm still enjoying it. I don't really feel my age is a factor at all. Like like some of the guys in my gym, they're like 25, 26-year-old up and coming pros who are like hungry. And I'm doing really good with them. You know, I lose rounds, I win rounds. And I always travel for sparring when I've got a fight as well, and I do really good there. Same again, I win some rounds, I lose some rounds. The rounds I lose, I really focus on what section of the spar I lost and how I can get better there and fix it. And that's kind of been my mindset since I kind of left, got cut from Bellator that long ago, and I got signed to ACB. And that kind of propelled us I took a fight with Nicholas Backstrom in like a week or two's notice, and he was like number one in Europe at the time, and I beat him, and that kind of like that was kind of like my name back in the mix there. In the ACB rankings, I was like ranked number 3 in their world rankings, you know. So I would like to kind of, and I left there because I got a good offer from Bellator. So I'm really trying to push through now and have a good run.
Well, like you said, you've been doing this for a while. You've been pro since 2007. Um, with you still now competing, has your routine changed in any ways? I know you said that age is not a factor, but are you training for different things? Is there any specific things you're focusing on?
Well, have you heard the saying, "Youth is wasted on the young"? Like,
I haven't
I
heard
just,
it, but it makes complete
oh,
sense.
well, that's a good saying anyway for you. You can pinch that one. So, just like, you got to think though, back then as well, there wasn't really any coaching. Now, I've definitely had some good coaches around. I've like decent boxing coaches over the years, and there's a lot of people who are good at their thing. They've really helped us out and stuff like that as well. So, but like. Yeah, like I'm one of the first coaches around here, like an MMA coach. So there was just me and some of my friends who would just train together, and we just sparred, and we just rolled, and we just like, and I just didn't know how to train. And we would just go hard every single day. I used to like spar MMA on the morning, then I would go to a pro boxing gym. I would spar boxing on the night time, and that's just stupid, really. When I think about it, and I'll do that like almost every day, you know. And I would be tired all the time. I'm a lot more sensible with my training now. Like, I still do 2 sessions a day, but I'll say if I do one session that's go to 10, like say 8 out of 10, the next session that day is like 2 or 3. You know, and I try and like balance it that way and mix them a bit. And I have 3 or 4 like mega hard sessions in the week, and the other ones all about skill development and me getting better, you know, and problem solving.
With you saying that you're one of the first coaches around in your area, is when everything's said and done, whenever that is, it could be in 30 years' time knowing you. Um,
70, 66, 67.
yeah, you never know. You could still be fighting, but as you said, when it's all done, whenever that is that a career path you're looking towards, coaching? Is that something you wanted to be doing?
Well, I've just ended up there anyway, haven't I? So I've got a full-time gym now, and I get paid for it, obviously. I've got some good guys coming through. I've just got like my first guy to the UFC as well, which is like Michael Parkin. So he's just
Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
so
Yeah,
yeah, so he's at heavyweight. So he just won on the contender series like 2 weeks ago. So he's like my first guy to the UFC, you know. So I'm really happy about that. I've got Phil DeFries, who's like the KSW heavyweight champion. And there's a couple of other really good guys, you know, like Tom Asman will come and train with us for these, like a few times for his last fight. And it's all like, and I've got a few more guys who I think maybe like a year or two away from like that, maybe he's contender series to the UFC path as well. So it's all going good for the gym, it is.
super. So let's get back to the fight.
Sorry, I
What?
have went off on one.
No, it was me. I'm intrigued. What do you think of your opponent, Justin Gonzales? What do you think he does well? What do you feel like is his main threat coming into this fight?
I think he's really fit. I feel that he's always going to be there. Like even the last round, he's a competitor. Um, I feel he looks very athletic and explosive. And I don't feel he's as good anywhere he was good as me on the floor. He's a wrestler as well. He'll have some nice takedowns and stuff like that. And his boxing looks decent. You know, he looks like he's got a punch on him. But it's one thing where I've just got to make sure I keep me focused and I'm switched on all the time. And he shouldn't really be able to hit us as long as I am, as long as I don't make too many mistakes. Do you know what I mean? There's a few things he does nice with his to kind of use his boxing to try and set his takedowns up as well. So I'm just preparing for that now. And the obviously hopefully if I do all my learning and all get all my preparation right and be problem solving, by the time it gets to fight night, it should all go my way.
Do you feel like it's a one clear way to victory, or do you feel like there's gaps and areas where you can exploit during the fight?
So they'll be like it's one of them where it's like, oh, he's not very good on the floor. Oh, so you just take him down. But I feel like it's not like that anymore. Everybody's a lot more well-rounded now. So it's more of these small things. It's where it's like, um, he's not very good in this position. Like when he's throwing his punches, he kind of overleans a bit. Like he bites on this fake a lot. When he doesn't handle very well when people throwing a punch at him. So it's kind of rather than just this big generic thing. I feel it's more you want to look at like how you can force him out of shape, stuff like that.
Yeah. So if you were to get the win and you were able to pick your moment, like you said, is there any opponent you're eyeing for? Is it gonna be? Does it have to be a ranked opponent guy, or are you looking for just a big fight?
So I've never said no to a fight. Like I just like even ones like the last guy I got, like he was signed to ACB when I was, and I knew he was I knew he was a really good guy, and it wasn't doing anything for my stock going forward.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like propelling us, and I knew he was really good. And stylistically, it was a bit of a hard one for me. Um, but I just said yes to him. I just kind of see him again. I just started like looking at how I could beat him, and it worked quite well for us. So I'm not going to say no to anybody. I would ideally like somebody else who's kind of above, some creeping up, But I just I kind of made this thing ages ago that whoever got offered, I just say yes, and then just go from there.
Fair enough. Well, at the event Bellator 287, the main event is Mansour Barnarini versus well, making his promotional debut against Adam Piccolotti. I'm sorry about the pronunciation of those names. It's not my strong suit. However, how do you see that fight playing out?
I don't really know much about that pick a lot. I don't. I remember that one. So I remember him. I think he fought Colin Fletcher years ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it's hard for us to see unless I sat and studied them both. Fights what I am looking forward to is Sol Rogers and Tim Wild. I like both guys. I think they're both really nice people, and they're both really good fighters. And like Tim moves a lot and fakes loads, and he's fit. Saul's like a powerhouse. He's so strong. Um, and it's all a case of Saul taking him down, grinding him out, and beating him up on the floor. Or if Tim can keep his feet moving and not planting so much, and he gets Saul like kind of shooting into fresh air a bit. So I do feel that's going to be a good fight, and I feel it's an exciting fight. I can't remember who else is on the fight card, to be honest.
um, I just wanted to quickly ask, actually. Uh, Sorry, last fight you had, you mentioned before that it didn't do much for your stock. It's a bit of a general question, but seeing Leon Edwards in the UFC, with him being taken out of the rankings and messed about with, does that give you any motivation?
Um, I like. I kind of feel I motivate myself and like just I've kind of picked what role I am. No, I haven't picked. Sorry, I understand what my role is. I think I'm not like a very popular fighter. I'm not very outspoken. I don't really like a lot of attention either. I don't like people like licking me arse and stuff like that. I really don't like that cringy bit of it. And I'm not really too fake in the limelight. I kind of do it all for myself, just because I like to challenge myself. I like to grow as a person, and I like to get better. So just with the saying that, like I feel like I'm like a horrible fight for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter if I lose or not. People like realize I'm an awful fightman. I feel that's much to do with the fact that like I've done all my learning on the job.
Mhm.
Like I've lost 8 times as a professional, which and I've done that pretty much like before getting to like this point in my career. Do you know what I mean? Well, maybe I'm doing a bit better now. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually once people they kind of like fall off and they might be kidding themselves and a bit deluded, but they never kind of get that chance again. But I feel I just keep pushing forward and just keep getting better, and it's hard to be ignored really by it when it gets like that. But I think I'm just the guy who just got better.
Um, so obviously you want to take a fight, each by its time, but ideally, where do you see yourself in a year's time from now? Do you see yourself in the rankings, or do you see yourself in a title picture, or where do you see yourself ideally?
I don't really know. Like I know I say to me, oh, this Bellator goals, like, but I suppose everything I'm doing is to kind of lean towards that point, So hopefully, like, what I'm doing is right, and the way I'm approaching my fights are right. And if that is true, maybe a year could be a close enough time where I could be doing that. It might be a little bit longer, So I suppose you have to wait and see what happens. And sometimes, if you're a European fighter, you can get shelved for a bit as well. And I
Yeah.
suppose with the COVID thing, a lot of people did. So the past 2 years, well, it was like one fight 1 year, one fight the next year, and then now it's like 6 months since this fight. 2 fights a year is good for me. So it just depends how many I creep in.
Okay. So finally, I wanted to get your prediction for your own fight against Gonzalez. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised? Is it by knockout, submission, or how would you like it to happen?
Um, so I would definitely love the knockout. I just want to win. I'm not really. I'll take whatever I get, And like, it's very hard to kind of make predictions and stuff. You make like intelligent guesses, I suppose, but it just a lot of times you're kind of being reactive on what the person's doing all the time. And I'm just going to hope that I can kind of like capitalize on all the time he makes mistakes and hope that I can kind of keep myself nice and cool and keep my shape about us, and I don't make stupid mistakes when I'm in there.
Super. Well, before I
Bit
let
of
you
an on,
go,
yeah,
sorry,
wasn't
I
it?
didn't mean to cut you off.
It's a bit of an on the fence answer there, wasn't it?
Oh no, honestly, you just want to win, don't you? A lot of fighters sometimes, they're so skilled that they just want to, whatever opportunity shows themselves in the cage, they'll jump on it. But before I let you go, I just wanted to give you the chance, give you the floor to shout out any sponsors or any coaches, people that you want to shout out.
I always forget people, so I'll just do a pretty generic thing. Like, just my partner, she helps us so much as well, and like with every bit of my life as well. And she's like my best friend, and she trains with us as well. And all my training partners at the gym and everybody who helps us, who I go and see as well.
Super. Well, I wish you all the luck at Bellator 287. I'm looking forward to you to put on a show, bring back that W back to England, and yeah, man, we'll look forward to having you on the show again. Honestly, it's been a
Cheers,
pleasure
man.
to speak to you.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you.
No, pleasure. See you later.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.